Hey everyone, welcome back to Piano for the Blind. This is lesson 2, and I apologize in lesson 1. The audio is going to sound a little weird because I peaked and got too loud a couple times, so I had to really compress things. So hopefully we'll work out more audio in the future here, but this is just what we're kind of doing. In lesson 1, I taught you how to navigate the keyboard, the note names for like 7 of the lowered keys, and just what your fingers are numbered as. So in this lesson today, we're going to be talking about the raised notes, the notes that I did not explain. So as a little bit of a recap, I explained to you that in piano there are only 12 notes. But those 12 notes just repeat over and over and over. And I only taught you the lowered notes, and there are 7 of those, and there are 5 raised notes in sets of, 2 raised notes and then 3 raised notes. So I'm going to teach you what those note names are, and then I'm going to teach you some intervals, just 2 intervals, which is just the distance that you're moving from one key to another. And then I'm going to teach you a scale and about scales. So this might be a little bit of a jam-packed lesson, depending. So hopefully you guys will be all right with that and can follow along. But without further ado, like I said, my mic is in front of me. So if I mess up hitting a key, that might happen. Might make things a little bit difficult, but we're going to do our best here. So as you remember, hopefully you reviewed, we are on middle C, and the notes, as you learned, were C, D, E, F, G, A, B. Well, and then when we go all the way up to C, it just repeats again. But there are those 5 raised notes that I have to explain to you. So we're going to go to middle C, and then those first 2 raised notes. So, just to make this quick, when you're going up to one of these notes, it is called a sharp. So we're on middle C, we're on the C, and we're going to go up to that first raised note. That is called a C sharp. Okay, so going up, C sharp, and then we're going to go to the next note, which is a D. That is the lower note. So that is D. That is the next lower note after that raised note that we just hit, which was C sharp. So again, we are on C, and then going to that raised note, the first raised note of the set of 2 here, that is a C sharp. And then we're going to go to D. And then when you're going back down to that note from a D, it is a D flat. So we're on D, we're going to go back down to that first raised note, and that is a D flat. They are the same note. Basically, don't get too hung up on it. It's just kind of like how it's naming. So when you're going up from these raised notes, when you're going up to one of these raised notes, it is called a sharp. And when you're going down to one of these raised notes, it is called a flat. So we're just going to kind of continue on here. So we're going to go C. We're on that normal C, the lowered note. First raised note, C sharp. Then we're going to go to the D. So we're on D. Now we're going to go to that second raised note here. And as we just discussed, when you're going up, it is a D sharp. So we're going from that D to that second raised note, D sharp. And then you go to the next note, we're on the E. And if we went back down to that note from the E, so we're on the E, going down to that second raised note, that would be an E flat. And most people just call this an E flat. If you are going up from the D, it is a D sharp, but most people just refer to it as an E flat. So just be aware of that. So we are now on the E. And as you have noticed probably, that when you go to the F, so we're on E and going to F, there is no raised note in between. So you don't really have to worry about that. So let's just go to F. We're on F. And now we're next to the set of 3 raised notes. So hopefully you've kind of got what it is at this point, but we're on F. So then we're going to go to the first raised note of the set of 3. That's F sharp. And then we're going to go up to G, that's the next one. And again, if we go back down to that note from the G, it would be a G flat. So going up from the F to the first raised note of the set of 3, F sharp, going down from the G, that would be a G flat. So hopefully you're following me there. So we're on the G. I'm going to go to the second raised note of the set of 3. That is a G sharp or A flat. Then we're going to go to the next note, A, just the normal A. And then we're going to go to the very last raised note of the set of 3 from the A. And then that would be, as you hopefully have guessed at this point, A sharp or B flat. If, because next we're on B. And if we go down from the B, it would be B flat. So, and then we just, there's no raised note in between B and C. And then we're back to C, and it just repeats like that. And so that is sharps and flats. And that is the 5 raised notes that we did not talk about. So now you have the knowledge of all 12 notes that just repeat on the keyboard. So we'll just go through them one by one. So we're never going to skip notes like that at this point. But so C, C sharp, first raised note, D, and second raised note, D sharp or E flat, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C. Because we're going up, I just went ahead and just called them sharp. Not that this really matters, but in case something reads something weird to you, if you're looking at something like a C sharp major. So C sharp is identified by a number symbol or a hashtag. So that sort of symbol is what is next to a C to make or to a letter, and it'll be called C sharp. If a screen reader or something doesn't read it that way, if it's C number or something, if it says number, then it's a sharp. And then B, a flat, if it's a flat, the symbol's a little bit different. It's a lowercase b with it's just basically a lowercase b. Is how a flat is. So I'm not sure, if you'll run into any issues with it misreading that, but if it says CB or something, then that would be C flat. But hopefully you guys don't get too confused or hung up on this, but I waited to the next lesson because I didn't want to overload you with anything. So that's why we're kind of handling it now, but that's kind of how it is. And remember, if you're confused, just re-watch this multiple times, ask questions, and I'll try to do my best to help you. But yeah. So with that being said, we're going to move on to intervals. And like I said, all intervals are just distances that you're moving, from one key to the next, or skipping keys. It is in intervals. And I'm just going to teach you 2. They're the most basic ones. I'm going to teach you a half step and a whole step. You've probably heard of these, maybe, or maybe you haven't. So we're going to go back to our good old friend middle C, which you should be very familiar with at this point. Middle C. And so all a half step is you just going to the direct next note. So we're on C. You just learned what this first raised note was, which is a C sharp. So going from C to C sharp, that is a half step. You want to move another half step, move from that C sharp, move to D. It is literally just moving from one note to the next note next to it, right? So C and then C sharp, the note right next to it. We're on, and then move to D, and then D to E flat or D sharp. That's a half step. Half step is literally just the next note. Then we get to a whole step. A whole step is just 2 half steps. So it's very simple. So we're going to go to C. So we're going to go to C, and if I say move a whole step, you're going to skip that raised note, that C sharp, and you're just going to go to D. Straight to D. You just skip one note from the C. And that is a whole step. You can just like count it, you're on C, and then I move 2 notes. So you're on C, move 2 notes, C sharp, D. That is a whole step. Remember, a whole step is just 2 half steps. Same thing if we were on D, and I said move a whole step, you're going to skip that second raised note, and we're going to go straight to E. Straight to E. And just, in case you get a little confused here, we're on E, and you might ask me, well, there's no raised note in between E and F, and that is true. So what do? Well, instead, we just go to F sharp. So that first raised note of that set of 3, the F sharp, you skip F and go to that if we're moving a whole step, because a whole step is 2 half steps. So, and again, a half step is just the very next note. So if you want to move a whole step, you move 2 notes over. It's just the way to think about it. And then you would just, so on and so forth with whichever one you were using, Since we're on F sharp here, if you wanted to move another whole step, you would move over to G sharp, the next raised note, the second raised note, and so on and so forth. And those are just 2 the most common intervals, and they'll be more useful later when they help you figure out scales and different things like that. So I just wanted to teach you those basic ones. There are other intervals that I may teach you later, but for now, that's all you really need to know. So now we're going to teach you how to play a scale, and I'm going to talk about scales. And like I said, this might be a little longer of a lesson, but stay tapped in, and hopefully we will get through this together. So a scale is basically 8 notes just played in a row. That is a scale. So, for instance, I kind of already showed you a C scale in the last lesson, but I'll do it again. So a C major scale is C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. And so as you noticed, we started on middle C, and then we ended up ending on a higher C. And that is how scales work. You will always, I shouldn't say always, but for most basic scales, you will end up on the same note you started on, just it'll be higher up, right? A higher pitched one. So also, I guess this is an interval that I'll teach you. So this C to the high C, that is an octave. So when it's just the same note, but higher pitched, that distance in between those notes is an octave. But yeah, so that's basically what a scale is. And you just play it these notes. They're just notes in a row. The C major scale doesn't use any sharps or flats. So at this point, I want you to really go over things a lot, because I'm no longer going to be saying raised notes. At this point, you should understand that what these raised notes are, sharps and flats. So I'm actually just going to stop calling them that. So hopefully you'll pick it up at what I'm talking about at this point. But there are no sharps and flats, so no raised notes. That's the last time I'm going to mention raised notes. But yeah, so it's all just the non-flat sharp keys. So it's it just goes C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, and then you just go back down from C. So that is a C major scale, and just basically what scales are. This is a major scale. In lesson 3, I will teach you some chords and what major and minor is and stuff, so don't get hung up on any of that stuff in this lesson. We're just trying to teach you some basics here. And so that is the C major scale, and that is what scales are, just a set of notes. And it also is just something when someone says what something is in the key of, it's kind of referring to this. So it's like, oh, what key is the song in? And it's in C major. And it's kind of, the key is referring to this kind of like scale set type of thing. Is a good way to think about it, is at least the way I understand it. So the key is kind of what the scale, like the song scale is in, like the C major scale. I might be a little off on that, but it's okay. It doesn't really matter all that much. But and the key can change. You can change scales or keys in the middle of a song, if you know. But we won't get into that. Anyways, stay on track here. But I'm going to teach you how to play this scale with the fingering numbers that I gave you with your left and right hand. So I'm going to do my best to explain this, and we're just going to go, okay? You should know at this point what fingers are what. Your thumb is your first, and then your pinky is your fifth on the right hand. I'm going to teach it with the right hand first and then the left. So we're doing the C major scale. So we're going to go on to our middle C. And I'm going to try to go a little quick here. So I don't make this go on forever. But so we're going to be on middle C. So your thumb. Your thumb is going to be on middle C. And then you're going to play the D with your index finger. And then you're going to play the E with your middle finger. And so that's kind of where we are. And then we're going to do something interesting here. So again, C with your thumb, middle C, and then D with your index finger, and then E with your middle finger. And then what you're going to do is, so your middle finger is on the E right now. You're going to tuck your thumb very quickly under your middle finger and get your thumb to the F key. So it'd be like this. So this note, you're gonna, and as I said, this is gonna be a little difficult. Some people will pick it up faster than others, so don't get discouraged. Just keep trying, rewatch this. Just do your best. This is can be very difficult for some people. It just depends. But yeah, so as a recap, we're, thumb on C. We're going to play that. Then index finger on D, middle finger on E. Then you're going to take your thumb and quickly, tuck it under your middle finger to get it to F. In one quick motion. And then, so now our thumb is on F, and then we're going to go index finger on G, middle finger on A, ring finger on B, and then pinky on C to finish that out. And then I'm going to teach you how to go back down. So far, we have... That's what we have to going up. And this is how we're going to go down. So you're going to just kind of mimic it a little bit. So our pinky is on C. And then once you've hit that, once we went up, then you're going to take your ring finger, hit and go down and hit B. And then middle finger hits A. Index finger hits G. And then your thumb will hit F. And then once you hit F with your thumb, you're going to take your middle finger and your ring finger and slide those. You're going to kind of slide them over. Slide them over your thumb that is currently on F, your middle and ring finger, or your middle and index finger. You're going to slide those over your thumb. So then your middle finger is going to hit E, and then your index finger is going to hit the D, and then your thumb back at C. And then that is how you go back down. I know it can be a little confusing at first, but hopefully I explained it well enough, and then we're just going to go through the whole thing, and it's going up and back down, and that's how we're going to do it. And that is the C major scale and how to play it with your right hand. Just go back over this several times just to kind of get what I'm doing here. I know it can be very difficult for blind people to understand what's going on here, but I've done my best to explain it, and I ask questions, and I'll do my best to give more information if I can, or think of a better way to explain it. But that's the best I got for now, and that was with our right hand. So now I'm going to teach you how to do it with our left hand, but we're going to go down an octave. So we know, we have our middle C. Well, I want you to go down until you get to the next C, which is down here. And I apologize if you hear any sirens. I live next to a busy road, but nothing I can do about that. But anyways, yeah. So going from middle C all the way down to the next C, which is down here, again, next to two raised notes, sharps and flats. And we're going to do this with our left hand. And so, as you remember, the number fingerings are reversed, so our pinky is our first finger, and then our thumb is the fifth finger, like just in that row. So we're just going to do this. So, and like I said, if I mess up, it's because I have this mic in front of me, just really blocking my way. But so on this lower C, or if it helps, this is a C3. So C with your pinky. So C with pinky. D with ring finger. E with middle finger. F with index finger. And then G with the thumb, since it is a little bit different because we're doing our left hand and it's kind of reversed. So that's what we got. To where G, we're on G with our thumb, and kind of like the reverse, we're going to take our index finger and our middle finger and slide them over our thumb that is currently on G. And then our middle finger is going to hit A, and then index finger is going to hit B, and then our thumb is going to hit C. And then you go back down, kind of like, in a different way. I will teach you how to do that. But so far, this is what we got going up. So we're up, and so the way you're going to want to go down, I might need to move this mic a little bit, so I can actually get my hands over there. But yeah, so. Okay, so now we're on the upper C with our thumb, and then you're going to go back down with index finger on B, middle finger on A, and then you're going to tuck your thumb under your middle finger there to get to G, and then just go back down with index finger on F, middle finger on E, ring finger on D, and then pinky on C. And then that's how you would do it to go back down. So it's a little, like I said, the reverse of doing it with the right hand, but just with your left. And yeah, so it's basically going down with your left hand. It's kind of like going up with your right, if that makes sense. But so it's just like this. This mic is really in my way, but I'm gonna move it a little bit. Sorry if that made noise. So I want you guys to practice that. Hopefully you got it, and can figure out how to do the C major scale with both left and right hands. I want you guys to practice doing that 5-10 minutes a day with both left and right hands. And then once you've gotten really good and confident, you can actually try to combine them and do it with both hands at the same time. So the right hand is on, middle C, and then your left is on C3, the lower C, the next C below middle C. And then you can play this together with this mic. I don't know how well this is going to go, but I'm going to try to play this together for you just so you guys can get the picture. But yeah, there you go. That's playing C major, the C major scale with both left and right hands at the same time. It can be very, very difficult to get that left and right connection between left and right hands playing together. So it's a skill that you're going to have to work on and acquire and eventually get a lot better with. Scales, I know a lot of this is boring, and scales aren't very, they're not songs. Things aren't very flashy or important, but they are the foundation to, playing piano for a number of reasons. Just practicing these scales will build your finger strength, your dexterity, speed, accuracy, just all these different things, as well as songs are made of scales, because in scales you get chords, and as you know, chords make up songs, and so they are the building blocks of just music on the piano. So scales are very, very important, although the music theory behind it is boring. Which I get, but hopefully you guys at least have something to at least mess around with and play on the piano. Try, playing it soft or loud, or, messing around in that way just to get the different velocities if your piano has that. But, just keep practicing it until you can do it faster and better without thinking about it, and take your time. Like I said, it can be harder or easier for people. People learn at different levels and different speeds. So don't get frustrated. Watch this multiple times and, just keep at it until you can do it. I believe in you, and I know anyone can do it just with time and practice. So please just don't give up on it. Just keep trying. I know it can be difficult, but yeah. So just wanted to give you guys some of that encouragement. As I said, in the next lesson, we're going to be talking about chords and major and minor and stuff like that. But that's been about it. I think I've covered everything that I wanted to in this lesson. So I know it was a bit much, but hopefully you guys stuck with me and I explained things well enough. But yeah, this has been lesson 2. Thank you guys for watching and listening, and I will see you guys in the next lesson.